The Aztecs men's basketball team is on a roll, undefeated in conference play, in first place in the Mountain West. And how about the women's team, also undefeated in conference play and in first place in the Mountain West? Hello and welcome to this round ball edition of Aztecs All In, where today we are all things hoops. I'm Louis Weiner along with Steve Perez, who later will provide his take on the NIL money discrepancies between the haves, the Power Four schools, and the have-nots, everybody else. But first, let's say hello to Mr. Perez. Hey, Steve.
Hello, Louis. Still relatively early on in the Mountain West basketball season, but little margin for error for the Aztecs men's basketball team with no signature wins in the out-of-conference portion of the schedule. I will leave the analysis of the metrics up to you, but from here, Aztecs, they just need to live up to the preseason hype, and still a lot of ball left to play.
Steve, while the Aztecs are doing their best to just keep winning and improve those metrics that you just can't stop talking about, it's looking more and more likely that it'll be tough for the Aztecs to get one of those coveted at-large bids to the NCAA tournament. At this point in the season, it's just tough to move the needle on those rankings. Case in point, when the Aztecs defeated Nevada in Reno the other day, which you'll talk about in a few minutes, it was a quad one win, because Nevada was ranked within the top 75 of the NCAA net ranking. But days later, Boise State, which was Nevada's best win, lost at home to Grand Canyon, dropping Nevada below 75, so now it's a quad 2 win. Crazy stuff. While the Aztecs still have quad 1 win chances at New Mexico and Utah State, they need to make a pretty good jump up from the 66th spot they're currently ranked in the net metric. But first things first, you got to beat the team on the court, and they did just that against Fresno State. A lot of positives to come out of the Aztecs' 71-52 win over Fresno State. First, the Aztecs remain undefeated and in first place in the Mountain West Conference at 5-0. Second, the defense was excellent for most of the game, holding the Bulldogs to just over 30% shooting. And third, Magoon Gwath played his best game of the season, scoring 18 points on 8 of 12 shooting, including 2 for 2 from 3 in just over 22 minutes of playing time. The bad, the Aztecs won the game by 19, but probably should have won it by 40. After leading by 15 at halftime, the Aztecs started the second half on a 16-2 run to extend the lead to 29 at 52-23 with 14:40 left. And then the Aztecs took the foot off the pedal. They also didn't shoot the ball particularly well against Fresno. They finished at 40%, but most of those were in the paint. From the three-point line, it was like the gang that couldn't shoot straight. The Aztecs took 29 three-point shots, making just 6. That's just a 20% clip. That also includes a three-point attempt from both Pharaoh Compton and Miles Heide. I believe the first for each this season, both misses. Fresno State was without its starting point guard out with an injury, and the Aztecs took advantage early, causing Fresno State all sort of problems on the offensive side. The Bulldogs didn't score their first points of the game until the 13:25 mark of the first half. But that three by Jake Heidbreder pulled the Fresno State to within 5 points at 8-3. Yep, the Aztecs had just 8 points. They couldn't take advantage early, shooting just 2 for 11 from the field to start. But the Aztecs dominated on the boards, out-rebounding Fresno 48-35 and allowing the Bulldogs just 5 offensive rebounds to the Aztecs' 13, which led to the Aztecs with 23 second-chance scoring points to 0 for Fresno State. The Aztecs had been scoring about 40-plus points a night from their bench, one of the best bench-scoring teams in the nation, but not against Fresno. They got 17 off the bench to 16 for Fresno. The game was a blowout until the Aztecs allowed Fresno State to go on a 24-9 run, cutting the lead to 14 points during a 10-minute stretch in the second half, something that really frustrated Coach Brian Dutcher.
Well, we played 3 quarters of a really good game, but obviously it's human nature, like Magoon said, it's true. You get ahead by what we got ahead 10 minutes ago, and then we lose focus. Farrell takes a three, Heidi takes a three, which I'm fine with at times. And, we took some harder shots. We lost focus defensively and just let our foot off the gas enough to let a team that's good come back and fight their way to a closer margin. And then the last 2 minutes and 30 seconds, we kind of spurted out again, made some good plays. But if you lose focus in basketball, you're susceptible to have the other team make a run on you, and that's what happened. So we had a real break today when their point guard missed the game, Collins. He's arguably their most important player because he dominates that position for him. So to have to play a whole game without him was hard on him, and we took advantage of it. We forced 17 turnovers. We got their big in foul trouble in the first half, so I think we scored 23 second-chance points. I don't think they had a point off an offensive rebound. So all those statistics matter. Magoon was great. So I went inside to him right away, and you just see his length. He missed little shots, but he's so long he just grabs his own rebound and puts it back in. Then he made a couple threes. He made a mid-range, dove on the floor for a loose ball. So he's getting more comfortable, and that's good to see. The better he is, the better we are. So we didn't shoot the ball particularly well from three today. We've been a pretty good three-point shooting team, but we missed a lot of open looks from three. That if we're going to have the season we want to have, we're going to have to shoot a better percentage from three.
Back to Magoon, who looked like his old self out there, old as in last season. It's been a tough go so far for the 7-footer who pulled out of the NBA draft, decided not to test the transfer portal where he could have gotten some big bucks, and returned to San Diego State. He was back in the starting lineup on Saturday night after Dutcher pulled him out for 2 games for disciplinary reasons. After the game, Magoon talked about the struggles he's faced this season, and Dutcher, sounding more like psychologist than coach, spoke of his role in helping get Magoon back on track.
It's a good feeling to be back in the starting lineup. Obviously, losing the starting job, nobody would want that. So, good boost of confidence. I played harder and just try to go out there and have fun. Try not to, press my game too hard, think too much about it. Just go out there and play. Whatever happens, happens. I didn't do what I was supposed to do, so I can't argue with them. Take me out of the starting lineup. He is, it's a culture that we all have responsibilities we must do, and if we don't do it, then stuff like that can happen.
Do you think it's kind of motivated you?
It helped me lock in. Having a couple slip-ups, it just put me back on track.
He's getting better, and I can tell it. There was a stretch where he looked pretty sad out there and sad in practice, and he has to fight through that. My job as a coach is not X's and O's. It's trying to help these guys fight through tough stretches in their lives, whether it's on the court, off the court. That's my job. If I can get them in a good place mentally, then they got a chance to be successful. So as much as everyone wants to talk about defense and offense, the only way you can have success is to get your guys in a good place mentally, and that's what my job is, to try to get them all to a place where they feel good about themselves, they feel valued, and they want to play their best basketball for San Diego State.
So the Aztecs will try to stay undefeated in conference play this week with 2 more games ahead. The first on Wednesday night, the Aztecs' last trip to Laramie as members of the Mountain West. And I'd bet they'll never play another game there ever again with that 7,000 feet of elevation and having to pack up all that beet juice. Yuck. And then home Saturday afternoon for a 5 p.m. tip against a very good New Mexico team coached by former UCSD coach Eric Olin. Steve, what about that other conference game this past week against Nevada?
I'm going to skip the little Wolfpack howl on this one, but the Aztecs, I think, catch a break. This game still being outside the school schedule, so the college kids not out in full force. Lewis, this game an early test for San Diego State on the road in Reno against a team with an identical Mountain West Conference record of 3-0 going in. Aztecs own a 6-6 record into this final conference game against the Wolfpack in Lawler Center. It's a team that was riding a 7-game winning streak in front of a national TV audience on Fox Sports 1. Well, it started out on Fox Sports 2 because the earlier game goes long, but you get the idea. They're on TV, and TV rules. It was a slow, sloppy start for the Aztecs, and they were clearly having trouble early against Nevada defense. They committed 9 first-half turnovers. Nevada, good job pressuring the Aztecs from the inbound, down the court, throughout the possessions, giving Aztecs shooters very few good looks. And the hometown Wolfpack was having its way against the Aztecs defense early. At one point, the Pack led by 12, shooting 43% from the three-point line. Magoon Gwath did not start, but the Aztecs appeared to right the ship once he entered the game with some good defense and 5 points off the bench. But the Aztecs missed a chance to close the lead to 6 at the 13-minute mark on 2 missed free throws by Tay Simmons. All 11 Aztecs saw time in the half, but the most consequential minutes supplied by Taj Gorville off the bench, leading the scoring with 8 points. At the 8:55 mark, he busted loose for a fast break bucket, was fouled in the play, made the free throw, made it a 4-point game. Moments later, Miles Heide slammed home a dunk after a turnover to cut the lead to 2, 23-21, and complete the Aztecs' largest run of the first half, 10-0. Heide, 6 points on 3 of 3 shooting. Nevada's Tayshawn Comer led the home team with 10 in the first half. 2 others scored 8 each, including Chuck Bailey III, who was 2 of 2 from downtown. When the dust settled after that first half, it would have to count the Aztecs fortunate to remain down just 2, 36-34. But, as we will see, a key edge rebounding favors the taller Aztecs. Second half, an early 3 by Bird bounces in, gives Aztecs their first lead of the game. Bird with a layup later and another 3. The Wolfpack scoring as well. Aztecs lead by 2 at the first media break, 44-42. They extend that lead to 5 on a fast break, 2 by Pharaoh Compton, but the Aztecs' tough half-court defense results in them committing multiple fouls. They have 5 hard-earned team fouls at the 13-minute mark. The Wolfpack appears to try to push the pace in an effort to defeat the Aztecs' half-court D. They are marginally successful. Close it to 3, 51-47 at the next immediate timeout, 11:18 left. At the 9:49 mark, Nevada in the bonus with a 4th foul on Goon. Nevada, a good free throw shooting team, but unable to exploit that. And at 7:45, Steve Alford wants a timeout after the Aztecs go on a stretch where they are loading up on points in the paint using the length and athleticism of Tay Simmons, Miles Heide, Miles Bird, Reese Dixon Waters. Aztecs will lead by 6, 57-51. Bird flying high for the Aztecs with a team-high 14 to this point. Also, 34 points in the paint for the Aztecs, according to the Fox Sports 1 graphic. A double-digit advantage on the glass to then. That score holds up until another foul by B.J. Davis sends Elijah Price to the line. He makes 2, a 4-point Aztec lead. Moments later, DeGorville gets them both back with free throws on the next possession. And it's your typical Mountain West scratch and claw on every possession the rest of the way. Bird gets into the air. Price fakes him up underneath, makes the basket and the one-on-one. Then, less than 10 seconds later, Davis draws a foul. He gets 2 back at the free throw line. Aztec lead is 4, 6:01 left. A Compton foul on Comer makes it 10 fouls by the Aztecs. They are in the double bonus the rest of the way. The Wolfpack is. That could be a big advantage in a close game. Inside of 5 minutes, Nevada closed the lead to 1 behind solid free throw shooting. Great hustle on court by Elijah Price. But blink and the Aztecs score again when Dixon Waters lays it in off a fast break 4 seconds later. Price gets back to the line, makes 2. There's a virtual rugby game after that before Goon slams home a dunk coming out of a media timeout. Aztecs cannot extend that, though, due to uncharacteristic soft defense inside, perhaps trying to avoid sending Nevada back to the line. They will trail by a point with 3:07 left. There's a trade of possessions, and then finally a foul on the Wolfpack. It's on Price. Underneath, fighting for position, Dixon Waters, a big second chance jumper. 1:42 left. Officials go to the review monitor as Price appears to have a hand on Reese and may have tugged him to the ground. Yeah, just a common foul. Davis ends up with a big steal, but huge missed opportunity for the Aztecs as Bird ends up with the basketball, drives aggressively, cannot get the layup to go under duress. No matter, Heide will follow another Davis steal with the layup, 3-point Aztec lead. 31 seconds left. Aztecs will get free throws from Davis and Elsie Harrington down the stretch. Nevada cannot score. Your final is 73-68 Aztecs. A tightly contested road win for the Aztecs, where they locked down on defense in the last 3 minutes of the game, hold Nevada scoreless. Bird leads the team with 14 points, but 4 Aztecs card 10 each. That's Heidi, Dixon Waters, Davis, DeGorville. That's all part of what Nevada coach Steve Alford called an elite team. After the game, his squad short a few due to injury and illness. And in a game like this one, Lewis, Aztecs' superior length and bench strength gave them the edge down the stretch. The Aztecs led in total rebounds, 38-31, points in the paint, 42-16, massive edge in points off the bench.
We couldn't guard the bounce. It's the worst we've guarded the bounce probably all season. And if you can't guard the bounce, the ball gets the paint. They didn't make any post feeds. It was all dribble drive, and we just did not guard the dribble drive well. I thought we were tough in a lot of ways. I thought we battled in a lot of ways, but fundamentally, defensively, we weren't very good tonight. Every question I'm going to answer, we didn't get stops. We did not get enough stops. Our defensive efficiency was 118. The goal was 94. So you guard like that against a team like this, you're going to have to be lucky to win. And we didn't make enough plays down the stretch, but for 40 minutes, we didn't defend the way you got to defend to beat a team like this. They're picked to win it. So if you're going to play a team that's picked to win it, and as good as they are, and you can't get stops, it's going to upset a lot of the flow. Our bench got throttled tonight. Our bench was 37-9, so it's a good lesson for our bench. I've been praising them. I've been talking them up. But you can't start feeling good about yourself. You got to continue to do the things, the reason why we've had a good bench. But their bench dominated us. 37-9 is dominating your bench.
Now, it might have been a different game if Nevada had the services of their 6'10 transfer center, Joe L. Armatrading from Cal Poly. Going on 6 weeks now, he's missed play with an unspecified chest issue. Injuries, though, part of the game. Wolfpack ended Tuesday's play 11-4 overall, 3-1 in conference play. They were led by Elijah Price, who finished with 17 points, 10 rebounds, 4 steals. He's a fine player. Over to you, Lewis.
Steve, the Aztecs women's basketball team is on a roll. Last season, they got hot late and earned an NCAA tournament berth by winning the Mountain West Conference tournament in triple overtime. This season, they're peaking a bit earlier. They won their 8th straight game Saturday with super sophomore Naomi Panganiban hitting a 12-foot jumper with 4 seconds left to lead the Aztecs to a 73-72 win over Utah State in Logan. They are now 12-3 overall, 6-0 in first place in the Mountain West Conference. The Aztecs battled back from 11 points down with 8 minutes left, outscoring the Aggies 24-12 down the stretch. This comes off an incredible performance by the team earlier in the week when the Aztecs raced out to a 37-9 first quarter lead in an 87-69 win over Grand Canyon at home. In that first quarter, they were 13 for 16 from the floor and 7 for 7 from 3, and drew high praise from Coach Stacy Terry Hudson.
It was so fun to be a part of. Like I said, I've worked at some really powerful institutions with some big names, and I've never been associated with a team that has played so well for 10 minutes. And I turned around and looked at some of the fans and said, wow. And as soon as I said that, I thought, wow, it's probably going to go downhill. There's only one way to go after this. But was really proud of how we were able to sustain GCU's fight and finish it with an 8-0 run to make sure that we, I walked away from that game a little upset because we gave up the lead, but I had to remind myself we still won by 18. We're okay.
Earlier, I mentioned how the Aztecs peaked late last season. I asked Coach where this team is during this part of the season compared to last season's team.
Similar. I don't think we've arrived yet. We're still getting better every time, still figuring some things out. We have a little bit more offensive power, I think, on the perimeter this year than last year. So we're actually I thought we established ourselves in the paint last year with our post play and then figured it out last year. Now we're kind of came in guns blazing, shooting a lot of threes and figuring out where we can get some paint points. So just a little bit of a reversal on the style of play offensively, but the same goal defensively, obviously, to take care of business and hold our opponents under, 60 points every time we touch the floor and getting better at that. And that has allowed us to go through some valleys when our shots not falling. The defense has been pretty consistent, so we got to keep that up.
Steve, the Aztecs will try to make it 7-0 in conference play this Wednesday morning with an 11 a.m. tip-off at Viejas Arena against a New Mexico team that's 12-5 overall and 4-2 in conference play.
Lewis, it was Cyndi Lauper who once wrote a song about money changing everything. Then there was this old Irish cat, Edmund Burke, in the 1700s. He said, "If we command our wealth, we shall be rich and free. If wealth commands us, we are poor indeed." Lennon and McCartney, the Beatles, more recently said that money can't buy me love. Either way, these days, when it comes to men's basketball college rosters, money can buy you a roster and motivate some institutions of higher learning to do strange things in pursuit of more. Take the case of Baylor's college basketball program, where NBA draftee James Njai is the first former NBA draft pick cleared by the NCAA and signed to play and be eligible for 4 years of college ball. The contract signed Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas. He played his first college game since being drafted by the Detroit Pistons at age 18 in the 2023 NBA draft. 7-footer, never played in the NBA or signed an NBA deal, but he did play as a pro in Europe for 4 seasons. He has never signed an NBA contract. Baylor flush with cash thanks to a $10 million NIL gift in 2024. TV contract money from the Big 12, a Power 4 conference. You can't blame the program for pushing the envelope or the young man for taking the money. NCAA review of eligibility granted him 4 years in the college game if he so chooses. Illinois, BYU have reportedly pushed the envelope as well with some of their signings. It was a topic that came up recently for Aztecs coach Brian Dutcher, who says he's just working hard to keep San Diego State relevant on a national level, which is a tall order these days. UT's Mark Ziegler points out there is a vast difference in the roster costs of a Power 4 college, some of those with 8-digit payrolls, and that compares to an Aztecs roster that is no slouch itself, but not quite in the same neighborhood. He puts the Aztec roster cost in the neighborhood of $3 million annually. Dutcher said he was glad he's not the one making any of these decisions or non-decisions, as the case may be, on the national level. And not to be the negative guy, but
I think if you go pro, you know you're a pro. And this is still, until they change the way we approach it, college athletics. So I don't want to take anyone's opportunity away. But if you make a choice to go pro, I think you've made your choice. If they don't sign the contract they want, I think some of them are making more money in college. Right. So if it's a financial decision, you know, maybe they will come back. I don't know. Until we get the government involved, which I think everyone's trying to do, we won't have any real clarity as to what anything is. I think we're supposed to be dealing with some kind of salary cap. I don't know if that's happening. When I'm out recruiting, I don't think people are really thinking it's a real thing, the money being tossed around. So I'm just trying to keep San Diego State relevant on a national level, doing the best I can to do that, and we'll continue to do that.
NCAA President Charlie Barker made the bold move, I'm being facetious here, of stating the obvious. If you've signed an NBA contract, you're a pro and no longer a college player. He also said there are legal issues involved and is aware more schools are using international players. They've played professionally overseas. Supposedly, Barker is working, even as we speak, with D1 programs to combat what he called misguided efforts to destroy the American institution that is college basketball. Oh, NCAA President Charlie Barker, bless your sweet summertime heart. Good for you. Now, she played that first game against TCU in college. He was booed every time he hit the court in the game. He played 16 minutes, recording 5 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 fouls. Oh, and Baylor lost 69-63. This episode of Aztecs All In officially in the books. But keep checking out the X feed at Aztecs_all_in. Keep those cards and letters coming via Gmail, aztecsallin@gmail.com. For Louis Weiner, I'm Steve Perez, thanking you for checking us out, and we will check back with you soon.